Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Happy Turkey Day for those of you who supported. I know I'm about a day late, but I actually took off. Those of you probably noticed I didn't spend that much time responding to many of you who reached out. I apologize for that. I was trying my best to kind of detach for a day or so and do that. So yes, that's what I did, but I am back again for more punishment, I guess. But the reason why I wanted to come back again and have this conversation this weekend specifically is that, as a general rule, this time is kind of the beginning of the holiday season, right? Thanksgiving time, right before, maybe sometimes, depending on who you are, sometimes right after Halloween. And it makes you think about things, of course, like family and things like that. And the point that I want to bring up now is that many of us, more than ever, are being affected by our politics more than ever. It's politics has often been an issue, of course, right? Of course, it's been an issue. But I think now we're finding people who families break up now because of politics. People don't do business together because of politics. People don't date because of politics. People break up their marriages because of politics. I think that's a thing that was nowhere near as common in the past. And I feel like this is done because the establishment does not help. The establishment does not. The establishment makes it the norm. Social media makes everything worse. The court system makes everything worse. And the piece I'll bring up here is, believe it or not, RFK Jr. Why would I bring him up? Because last year when he was running, his family, a bunch, maybe 7 or 8 or 10, whatever the people were, I forgot how many did it, openly decided to call him a horrible person for running for office. Now, you might go, but Larry, RFK's a bad guy. Okay, you might believe that. Okay, I'm not mad if you believe that. Believe what you want to believe. But you're not his sister or his cousin or his brother. Well, Larry, should it matter? Yes. Yes, it should matter. If my daughter were to decide to run for something and she decides, I'm going to run as a socialist or a communist or whatever, clearly I would not like that. If she had terrible ideas like we should put all, I don't know, men in prison, whatever, right? Whatever ideas she would have. I might say I don't like her ideas. I might say that, but I probably wouldn't. I probably would just say, look, obviously my daughter and I don't agree on certain things. Clearly, she's my daughter. I love her. Good luck. And I would shut up publicly. Now, privately, I might have some words to say to her. I surely would. Excuse me. Of course I would. But publicly, would I disrespect my own daughter publicly because we disagree politically? Never. Never. And shame on every one of those pieces of shit Kennedys who decided to stab their own in the back over politics. Shame on I don't think any of you are watching. I don't think you like me at all. But if you are watching, you're terrible. You're horrible human beings. Again, not because you disagreed with him or thought he was wrong or that was crazy, whatever, but because you publicly dissed him like that. And that's your family. And we thought, as a general rule, because I was the oddball on this one, as a general rule, we thought, yep, that makes sense. That's okay. That's fine. When I was in the press saying how horrible these people are, I was the oddball. Nobody else was saying that. He didn't say that. I was like, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not. But we've made it that it's okay. We've made it that virtue signaling is more important. Being righteous is more important than our relationships, and we wonder why our relationships suffer. It seems pretty obvious that that's the case. Now, I want to bring up a piece, if I could, this is from, I remember the thing that made me think the most about this was when MSNBC last year, after the election said, don't hang out with people if they didn't vote the way you want them to vote with, even if they're your family. I'm not making that up. Some of you remember that, some of you don't. It was the horrible human being known as Joy Reid. And when I say horrible human being, I do mean horrible human being known as Joy Reid, because she was, and she brought another horrible human being, a doctor. I'll show you this in a second, who decided that she was correct. Some of you may remember this. I'll go through a bit of it so you remember that piece, give you a little.
So apparently some folks on the right have been thoroughly triggered.
So only on the right were triggered. So the people on the left were like, no, this makes total sense.
By the segment we did here on the Readout last week, in which a Yale-trained psychologist.
Now, notice this, a Yale-trained psychologist. She is so stereotype establishment left. Like she is stereotype establishment Democrat. She says the right was triggered because that's obviously you're stupid because you're on the right, so you're dumb by default. That's dismissive in itself just because you're on the right from her view. But not just that. She says Yale trained psychologist, which means she has credentials. So this person is smarter than you. So why are you questioning the establishment? Literally, she is like, she's almost like I wrote her in a book.
Counseled those who are distraught about the results of the presidential election and frankly frightened over the prospects for their own lives because of it.
Remember, frightened for their lives. I was telling you last show about Republican propaganda. This was Democratic propaganda, both sides of propaganda. This was all, remember how the Republicans were like, oh my God, Mom Donnie's going to kill us all, or whatever. He's not. Or, oh my God, Hochul's a Marxist, or whatever. Kamala's a Marxist. Remember that? None of that's true. It's Republican propaganda. Here's Democratic propaganda, right? Oh my God, I'd be scared for my life because Trump's elected. Utterly propaganda. This is just propaganda that the mainstream media puts out.
That they do not owe the people who voted for the very things they're terrified of their time over the holidays.
I don't owe them my time over the holidays. So as an example, my mother, my parents have passed, but my mother who raised me, who fed me, my dad who trained me to be a man, I don't owe that guy anything. To hell with that guy. That's what she's saying, because he voted or she voted for Trump. And she's not apologetic at all. Not even close. She's like, yeah.
Holidays.
There is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time.
She's mad. This Yale-trained psychiatrist, whatever she is angry because how dare you assume that because so was your family, idiots, that they should somehow get your time. This is why our everything is failing. This is why everything's failing. These two people are part of the problem.
And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your...
Voted against, they didn't vote the way you vote. How dare you spend time with them? How dare you spend time with them?
Livelihood. And it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why.
So, cue the people who just 2 weeks ago were screaming, "Let's go, Brandon," and cheering as J.D. Vance called Vice President Harris the trash he was going to take out. Now yelling.
Now, this is why they say it's okay. I'm done. You guys can get where I'm going with that. I don't have to go any further. Most of you want to vomit if I kept going. But that was part one. But that's not it. I wanted to bring up to another piece, which this is a sadder piece. This is a woman calling in. This is just several months. This is months after. Excuse me. Phil says, Joy Reid doesn't hate Trump. She hates her dad. Well, I'll go one step further. Joy Reid also hates herself. So I have to go there also. Joy Reid also hates herself. And that's the clearest thing. I don't have to be a Yale-trained psych, whatever. In fact, both of those women you just saw, they both hate themselves. That's the truth. They cannot stand themselves. That's why they hide behind other things. So that's the reality. You're correct. Probably hate your dad, but both of those women hate themselves more than anything. But the most important piece, and I'm going to go into this later, which is a social media piece, makes it okay because I get validated by people outside. So I can be okay because I say terrible things. And then I go online and go, there's a thing, for those of you who maybe aren't online as much, there's a concept called, am I the asshole? Those of you may know what that is. It's someone does something that they think may be bad, and they go online and ask that question. They tell a story, and they ask the question, am I the asshole? Now, some people go, yeah, you are. Okay. But most of the time, when you do that kind of thing, it's no, queen, no, king, whatever. It's just, actually, mostly women, but it's men too. But it's always, no, you're fine. That person's bad. You deserve better. So you now have an echo chamber of people saying, whatever bad behavior you do is now okay. So, yes. This piece here, this was heartbreaking when I saw this piece because it's a young woman. Now, of course, the concept always is that I bring this up because Joy Reid was the left telling the right, don't talk to me. This is kind of the opposite, kinda. You'll see what I mean by this one. So this is a woman calling into a show, the Dr. John Delaney show, and she's talking about how she can't talk to her parents because all they talk about is politics, and she shouldn't talk about that.
I'm not that old in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, I'm only asking you.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back
Explain to my parents that politics is ruining our family, and that they need to tone it down.
How old are you?
Now, she's saying politics is ruining our family. They need to tone it down. Saying her parents need to tone it down, right?
I'm 24, so I'm not that old in the grand scheme of things.
Now, in this case, you might assume that she's some hardcore lefty because she's a 24-year-old woman and she's showing up and saying all the lefty stuff. And because she says lefty stuff, her parents get mad. That's not true. Watch the whole thing if you care. We're not going to go through the whole thing. But if you care enough, please watch the entire thing if you want to. In this case, though, that's not the case. In this case, she's trying to not deal with it, and parents are hammering her from the right.
I'm only asking you. Because I'm going to say the oldest sounding thing in the whole world. And I'm sorry for saying it like this. It's something that I wish someone had told me when I was 24. And I also know I wouldn't have listened when I was 24. Yep. There's literally nothing you can do to convince them of anything.
That's the sad part. What he just said. Most of the people will change their opinions when they are prepared to change their opinion, when they're open to changing their opinions. When they're not, they will not. And you might go, I'm different. You're not different. You're just like everybody else. The question is, are you ready to have your opinion change or not? If you're open to it, you can change your opinion. If you're not, no. Clearly, and there's a problem when it comes to parents in particular, because most parents don't want their children to change their opinion because it feels like they're losing. I'm not making this up. That's not all parents. That's many parents. And in this case, I think that's true. And he goes through this in a second.
And it's one of those heartbreaking things that we learn as we grow older, that people that we love do things that hurt us. And we have pictures of the way we want things to be. We want family dinners to be fun and a safe place.
We want family dinners in our perfect world to be like the TV shows and movies and videos that we saw. And we want it to be like that. I get it. We all would love that. And that would be amazing. Sadly, for most of us, that's not the case.
And hilarious. And sometimes they're not.
Yep.
And we want our dads to love our husbands, and we want our moms to love our wives. And sometimes they don't.
They don't.
And we want our uncle to not drink. It just is. And so I guess the thing I can tell you is I'm imagining you've already tried to have a conversation.
It's come up a few times, but
she comes to the point, right? Now you're a kid. And when I say kid, I don't mean that you are a minor. I mean that you are a child of someone, right? She's an adult, obviously, but she's still an adult child to her parents, right? So it's difficult for most people. I mean, some people not, but we're looking at the average person. For most people to go to their parents and say, Mom, shut up. Dad, stop it. Dad, what's wrong with you? Shut up. You're being an asshole. That's hard for most kids to do. Some kids can do it, but for most kids, that's challenging to tell your dad or your mom, you're wrong. Stop. What's wrong with you? Look, stop hammering this politics down our throat. We're trying to have some turkey. That's not an easy thing to do, particularly what if you're at their house? I'm going to go to my mom's house to my mom to shut up while she's making a turkey. That is not an easy thing to do. So you're stuck. Now, should you do it? Yes. You should square your parents away when required. I squared my mom away when I had to, and I'm sure my daughter squared me away when he need to. That's how that works. I'm okay. You should do that. But it is challenged to do so, particularly if they're the ones helping you out or they're the ones in there. I mean, that's hard to do. But family's supposed to, sadly not the case in many cases, supposed to be able to be open and honest with each other so that when someone's screwing up, you can go, dude, you're screwing up.
Nobody in our family really feels comfortable having this discussion with them because they get so aggressive about it.
Yeah. Then here's the deal. They're opting out of relationship with you.
And that is so hard for people. He's correct. They're making a decision. And if I love my mom, my sister, my cousin, my uncle, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that the person that I love has decided that something else is more important than me. And the example I'll give, and this is a personal one for myself, how hard it was for me to accept that my mom chose drugs over me. For those of you who don't know, my mom was an addict. And I had to accept that. Again, if any of you have addicts in your life, you know all addicts, that's why they're addicts. They choose a drug over family and friends. That's why they're addicts. That's how it works. I don't want to hear that when I'm 18, 19 years old and I don't have a mom anymore. I don't want to hear that, right? It's still true. Just because I don't want to hear it doesn't mean it's not true. But I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to accept that. Not my mom, not me. I'm the exception, right? I'm special. My mom's special. My mom's, no, I'm not special. My mom's not special. I don't want to hear that shit, though. I didn't want to hear it. So I get where he's coming from. She has to accept that. In her case, her parents have decided relationships not so important. But what is important in this case? They're not a drug in this case, but it kind of is a drug.
And then they turn to us and they ask us why we never call.
Can you honestly say, because I don't like talking about politics and that's all you want to talk about? Now,
that's the second part. Now what happens? Well, when the person wants to speak on about politics and you tell them, well, I don't want to speak about politics, what do? They blame you. No accountability, just like an addict. An addict takes no accountability, none. And again, if you've had an addict in your life, you know what I'm talking about. They take no accountability, none. It's cause this, it's cause that, it's cause this, it's cause that. Yeah, but political people do the same thing. We understand it's cause of this, cause of that. Yeah, but you're being an asshole. Yeah, but this or but that. Okay, so now you're explaining why you're an asshole. You're still the asshole. As you've made a lot of words and done some explaining, but you're still an asshole. It hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
What do they say?
They get offended.
Of course.
I know, but listen.
Come after, like, they'll tell us that our beliefs are wrong and that,
righteousness.
We just don't understand yet. We don't have the experience. It just kind of seeps into every little thing that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
she doesn't want to hear the truth. And I get it. I'm not mad at this young lady. I'm not mad at her. I was the same.
Talking to a brick wall.
Yep.
I know, but you keep doing it.
And I kept doing it until at one point I didn't. And some of you know the story. I literally walked away from my mom until she hit rock bottom, which was prison for her. And some people rock bottom, sadly, is death. It's going to sound crazy. I am lucky that my mom's rock bottom was prison and not death. Some people, their loved one, their rock bottom's death. My loved one was prison. I pulled her out and we recovered everything and we were all good till the day she died. She was clean till the day she died. Yes. However, at one point you got to walk away. And boy, does that hurt. That hurts.
Actually, I cut them off a few days ago.
She cut them off too.
So I would flip the language around. Okay. Because I'm not a fan of cutting people off either outside of extreme abuse. Mm-hmm. I am a fan of letting people opt out when they want to opt out.
Also true. Smart move.
Your parents are not interested in a relationship with you.
You want to hear, boy, who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear someone that you love, whether that's romantically, whether that's family, brother, mom, dad, uncle, whoever, grandpa, someone you love, and recognize that they're not interested in a relationship with you? What are they interested in? Tell me, Dr. John.
They're interested in being right.
Bingo. Interested in being right. There are a lot of people I know who are all about being right. A lot of them all about being right. And what I tell them is, that's awesome. You're right again. And you put that on your tombstone. It'll be, he was always right. A tombstone that no one will ever visit. Let me say it again for all you I gotta be right people. I gotta be right will be in your tombstone that no one will ever visit. So you'll be right. You'll take it to the grave with you, and no one will give a shit. And it's okay, because you'll be right. You're the most righteous of them all. You're the most virtuous of them all. And you think, this is people everywhere, and this goes right back to social media. And you think, because social media tells you you're right, that somehow people love you or care about you. Those people on social media, unless you've met them or you have a community, don't. It's parasocial. It's one reason why I do all my stuff live, and half of you I've met, because I don't want it to be that way. I want you guys to know who I am. I want you guys to actually see me. That's what I actually want. With most of these people who are doing these videos and these TikToks, they don't give a shit. I love at the end of almost every TikTok, a popular, and this is heavily a female thing when it comes to TikTok, because TikTok's for women. It's different for men. Men do a similar thing, but when it comes to TikTok on women, they always end it with "love you all, bye." Common, love you all, bye. They don't love you. There's no love involved there. There isn't. There's just an addiction to attention. It's attention addiction and a validation. An addiction to validation. That's all it is. And it's everywhere. So they'd rather be validated than have a family. And here he goes on.
And my experience underneath all the political jargon is people are terrified and they don't have a map for how to work through that fear.
And this part is very insightful. He's talking about how older people in particular, and I feel this too, often feel like the world isn't meant for them. It's a common thing. Yes.
So they grasp with both hands so tightly. And so I it's less about you cutting them off, and it's more about them opting out of relationship with you.
Yes.
And that breaks my heart for you.
But here's the piece. I feel it too. I get mad all the time, right? And people in my team know I'm always pissed off at some technology shit. Why am I pissed off? It's a small thing, you would think, like this change or that change, or I don't know how to do this or do that. It's some small thing, right? No, it's constant. It's every single week there's some change to some technology that I don't get instinctively, but like my daughter does. So I'll give her my phone or a computer, go, how does this work? I mean, what I got to do? And she goes, oh, it's this. And while that doesn't matter, you might laugh, ha ha, Larry's an old man, whatever. What it does is it reinforces an idea that this world isn't made for me. This world is made for them. It's not made for me anymore. And it used to be made for me. Now it's not. Now more and more older people feeling that. Well, I think all these boomers start getting selfish, start getting angry. It's the opposite of the Gen Z people getting angry. And you owe me. Gen Zs think you owe me because you lied to me. And the boomers think, to hell with you guys, you've abandoned me. That's how the boomers feel. The boomers feel you've abandoned me. And the Gen Z feel you've lied to me. So now we have generational problems too. Generational, political, gender. Our families are being destroyed on all these different things. Why do I bring this up to you? I bring this up because I want you to recognize it. Because it's happening to you in some way. You're having issues with your family or friends, either on gender or on politics or on technology or on generational or something, because everyone's having it somewhere in your family. You're having it. And at one point, you have to put your pride in your pocket. And that's not easy to do. I know. I have pride. I'm proud too. I'm not sitting here pointing my finger, right? Without pointing at myself first. We got to do it. It's true. So let me walk on a couple of these here. Oh, yeah, my team's on board already. Yep. Mike says, yes, I do laugh watching Larry with tech. Not my mom, though. There we go. Liberty says, Larry definitely hates tech issues. True. Yes. D says, Larry, you know more about technology than most. most people your age probably wouldn't even know how to do a podcast, let alone editing afterwards and uploading. True. That's true. I know more than most, but that's why so many of them get angry and keep their houses. Don't let young people have their houses. That's kind of true. So yes, there's one more piece I want to bring up. Now I brought up the political piece and like going to the holiday season and then parents, but this is the one that is also for the youngins. And this one is the idea of women not wanting to date conservative men and conservative men not wanting to date liberal women, but then more men becoming more conservative and more women becoming more liberal. So this is a problem if more men are going this way and more women are going the opposite way and they want to opposite for each other. That's not going to go well. And we see it already.
So I appreciate it. Without any further ado, though, let's get right into it.
And can you imagine fumbling multiple generations of women all because you think that they shouldn't have bodily autonomy?
Across the country.
Real.
This is an issue, right? Because the thing you find is an immediate attack. What I mean by that is, I'll go back to the other part. If you are a conservative mom or dad, and the kids come and go, I'm not conservative, whatever, the attack is you're an American, why are you a bad person? Why are you a dumb wokester? The assaults are immediate. You're a communist, you're a Marxist. The insults are automatic because you aren't, as I think, you are the worst I think I can imagine for the left. Well, the left's the same as the right. If you vote for Trump, you don't want women to have rights, the whole deal, everything. It goes down that road. Now, again, are there Marxists and communists? Yes. Are there people who don't want women to have rights? True. It doesn't mean every person doesn't think like you is one of those too.
More and more women are making one thing clear.
I don't know, guys. Maybe it's not an AI voice. It is.
A vote for Trump is a deal breaker.
Real.
Dating apps, first dates, long-term relationships.
And we are seeing this everywhere. If you go on the apps like the Hinges of the world and the Tinders of the world, you will see people, women literally put no Trump supporters. They'll put that in their profile. Like, wow. Right? And then men in the opposite, the manosphere or the red pill side says any woman who's got a, the septum piercing, the nose ring, it's called nose ring theory. If you got a nose ring, you're clearly an evil leftist woman who needs to just be used and abused and thrown to the curb, right? Now, again, are there women who are terrible who have no? Yes, but does it mean everyone with a nose ring? Of course not. Of course there are people who fit the stereotype, obviously, or there wouldn't be a stereotype. But if we're going to start making this happen, we're wrecking everything. And here's the worst part. I keep jumping up and down because of social media. Because of social media, men in the red pill world who go, all women who have nose rings are evil, they can just sit there and say that all day long. And other men go, yeah, you're right, brother. All them evil women, it's all their fault. Yep. And you feel validated. And the women go on and go, it's these evil Trump supporters. They all think women should die because they're whatever. They voted for Trump. And the women go, yeah, oh yeah. Everyone's validated. Everyone's valid. The biggest issue here is that social media makes it all worse. And this is another example.
Everything is shifting. In this video, you'll hear real stories from women explaining why this choice matters. Listen closely.
They dump people.
Their reasons may surprise you.
Conservative
They won't.
men are literally like, my politics are like stopping me from getting laid because when women find out that I just don't think they should have like rights and I just perceive.
So any man told her, I don't think women should have rights. Now, are there men who believe that? Of course. But that guy is not hitting on her. That guy is not hitting on her. The guy who thinks women shouldn't have rights, he rents women or he has AI girlfriends, right? The guy who believes that doesn't hit on her. She's making this up for clout. But the problem is so many women don't know that. They're hearing it and going, oh, yeah, all these men don't think women have rights. No, the guy who thinks women don't need rights, he's not hitting on her. And the guy who's savvy and doesn't think women has rights, He is the, as they say in the red pill, he's the Chad of Chads. He's Giga Chad. He's strong and he's tall and he's built and he acts like he has money, even if he doesn't. He acts like he has money, and the women throw themselves at him, and he knows it, and he uses and abuses them. They're for recreation use only, and they hate men more because the women can't help themselves when a Giga Chad comes around. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. So that's why this is not true, and it's just harming things. This is just making things worse. That's why I'm to bring this up. I don't need to go any further. You guys get what I'm trying to get at. That piece drives me absolutely insane. Let me grab some questions and comments, and I'm going to go down some other things I wanted to bring up also if I could. But you got a lot of comments. I'm going to grab some of these if I can before we go. Michael, are we still allowed to ask when your book is coming out? You can keep asking. It's fine. The issue I have, and I keep saying, is I am overwhelmed with what I'm doing. I barely sleep. I wish I was joking. Yeah, there's just no way I can do my book right now. It isn't. I will try maybe over the holiday week, and maybe I don't even sleep. So yeah. Any case, we'll see. All right, let's see if I can do it here again. Okay. Michael goes on to say, it's interesting. I came to Troy to visit my dad, half-brother, on Tuesday. My cousin Ricky came on Thanksgiving. He was chatting with me today about how he has friends who worked as I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. I think a guard as a CO. Got it. For 40 inmates there, getting beaten to death, RAP, up behind and abused by the inmates, and yet Hochul fired half the ones that once. I'm not sure where that's going. Okay. Not sure where that was going, but I wanted to give you that opportunity to get that one out. Let me go on a couple things. First off, I'm very glad, Michael, that people came over to your house and you went to people's houses for Thanksgiving. Well done. Happy about that. Being a corrections officer, you see horrible things, to include gang, RAPE. Yes, you see that. That's true. And then people being fired. Yes. Hochul cannot stand corrections officers. It's true. And she has been terrible to them. That's also accurately. Yes, absolutely. So Mike says, so why don't you tell us how your holiday really went, Larry? Yeah, I know. But I did do something interesting. I will tell you this, Mike. And Mike, you will enjoy this. Others will too, but I know you will enjoy this. I sat down and I watched a classic New York movie with my daughters, the movie from 1979, The Warriors. They had never seen it. So yes, I know you love it because it's up there where you and I are from, is where it began. For those of you who don't know that movie, it is a classic New York City movie about theoretical gangs in New York in the 70s. I mean, it was very campy, but it's a cult classic movie. And there's lots of memes and stuff from it. And I'm not going to give you a story in case you want to watch it if you haven't seen it. The premise is one massive gang leader wants to take over New York City as a massive gang leader, and he has a large gathering in the Bronx. And this one gang called the Warriors is from Coney Island. If you don't know why that matters, is Coney Island's probably almost the most southern part of New York, and the Bronx is one of the almost the most northern part. So they go to the Bronx to this meeting gathering. I don't want to tell you what happens, but things go wrong. And they now have to escape and get back down to Coney Island. And it's about that night of them trying to get back through all the gang-related territory in the 70s, getting back to Coney Island. That's as far as I'll tell you. If you want to enjoy the movie, please go enjoy the movie. It is not a serious movie. So don't think there are, to be forward, there are some interesting subplots. There's a couple in it's interesting. There are, but it's not like the greatest actors or the greatest anything. And it's entertaining movies. That's what I will say. There we go. I think I did it right. All right. Michael's going to say, as to the titular question, yes, the leftist establishment, of course, only leftist because it's Mike, so only left, is very anti-family. Recall that BLM used to publicly call for ending the nuclear family until backlash go big in 2020. The right establishment is more about control, hierarchy, and loyalty to the leadership. Family does not really play into or against that. That's they're fine with it and use family as foil versus left. I do think, though, that's true, but I do think that the right does care about family. It's part of hierarchy and leadership. I think it falls right into play. I'm not as concerned about the hierarchy and leadership aspect. I'm concerned about the community aspect. And I would go even further. I go further than the right. The right says that the most important thing, typical, I don't want to broad base. The right typically says the number one thing is a nuclear family. That's a critical aspect, the best way to raise children, all those things. I go further. I think the extended family is. And I think us breaking up the extended family was one of the worst things we could have done. And that was big cities broke up extended families, industrialization broke up extended families. And that was the end of us. We weren't able to fix that well at all. We did not, as societies, we did not repair that. We weren't ready for that to happen so quickly. Culture didn't react well at all to that. And we thought, oh, it's okay. We've lost extended family. It's okay because we got this nuclear family and that'll be fine. And it's not fine either because then that broke down. And now we have in America now, most children now in America, some of you may not know this, will not grow up with their biological mother and father in their house for all 18 years. They will not. Most will not. If you have that now, if you have your biological mother and father in your home until you're 18, you are now in America in the minority. That's where we are. So I will go further, Mike. The right doesn't go far enough for me. Extended family is the key, right? That's the key. Kintsugi here. How are you, my dear? Happy Turkey Day. I can't speak to the establishment, but social media definitely adds to the hostility between men and women. Yes. It's both destroying families and making people wary of starting one. Yes, yes, and yes. Social media is destroying us because theoretically, it's not true, but in theory, social media should have allowed us to connect more. Should have allowed us to have better and more open conversations, which I tried to have, but sadly, no one watches my fucking show. So it doesn't work. I keep trying, but they decide to shut me down forever. So no, but yes, I'm trying to make it happen. Most of it is just echo chamber. Most of the internet is just social media. It's just echo chamber. So we're not having real conversations. We're having, you go king, you go queen. That's what we have. You're totally correct. And fear mongering and blood sport and all that shit. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. Rick stepping in before his gaming gang hits Discord. Nice. I like that. That is good. Let's see here. I'm gonna ignore that because Mike told me she's a bot. So I believe you, Mike. I believe she's a bot. I believe you. All right. Went to that. Wow. All right. Brian says, happy Black Friday. Yes, I hope you guys got some cool stuff. There we go. I hope you guys got some cool stuff. So you guys, by the way, we did have, yes, you might be asking, Larry, did you have a keto Thanksgiving? I did. Yes, I did. For those of you who care, I did have a keto Thanksgiving. My daughter cooked, I cleaned, and my youngest daughter, she went shopping. So my youngest daughter went shopping, my oldest daughter cooked, I cleaned. And we did. We had cauliflower mashed potatoes, which you know what that means. We had that. Keto gravy with it. We had keto cranberry sauce sweetened with monk fruit. So yes, please, you know what that is about. Turkey, which of course is keto by default. And we had a keto stuffing. Even that too. So we had a total keto meal and we had green beans. And green beans too. So we had that. That's what we had for our dinner. And then for dessert, we had keto ice cream, which I didn't really partake much. And whipped cream, which is keto. And my daughter made a keto apple pie. Was that? Yeah, apple pie keto, which was raspberry apple. And you make it, by the way, with what do you make it with again? Not rhubarb. I forgot. Zucchini. Maybe it was zucchini. Yes. So that was actually pretty good. So I did have a keto Thanksgiving, as I have every year. Yes. Wesley says, amen. Those Kennedys were disgusting. It was terrible. Those Kennedys were terrible. Yes. John says, I've heard about lots of people canceling family because they voted for President Trump. I've not heard one story of anyone cutting off family because they voted for President Biden or Harris. They don't. And there's a difference. All right. This is where the left and right are very different. And boy, people get mad when I say this, but it's just true. The left dismisses. The right will distract. The left dismisses. So, and this is why that woman that we saw, two separate pieces, right? I showed you Joy Reid, which was more left, and then the other guy, which is more right. The right-leaning parents aren't pushing the people away. They're drawing them in. They want to argue and confront and chat and change them. That's the right. The Bill Maher says it. The right comes on his show and the left goes, she's your righty. The left won't come on his show. I have the same problem. I can't get lefties on my fucking show. Same thing. It won't come on. The bravest guy was Mom Donnie. They won't. The left always dismisses you. You don't exist. You're not worthy of my time. I don't talk to you. You're an idiot. You're not important. This is why they won't go on shows unless it's it's one of them. They won't do it. That's one reason why some of the debate bros became so popular. Why? Because they were lefties who would go on a righty show when they would debate. That was a rarity. So if you would do it, you were special. This is why this is one of the reasons why Gavin Newsom is so popular. Why? Gavin Newsom goes on righty shows. Most leftists would never go on a show. They won't do it. They won't do it. It's guilt by association. And it's dumb. I hear this all the time. I've heard this 1,000 times, and I'm exaggerating, but I've heard it a lot of times. And the left believes this to be true. If you're sitting over there, you see one guy at a table. It's one guy and 5 Nazis. You know what you're seeing? 6 Nazis. They say that. And they think that's smart and savvy. That's insanely stupid. But they believe it, and they will say it 25 times, and they'll act like they're so savvy and smart. Why? Because they're virtue signaling. And what matters is virtue signaling. Nothing else matters. So yes, so the right rarely cuts you off. The right might punish you, but they rarely cut you off. The left will cut you off in a heartbeat. They will just abandon you all the time. So yes. Little thank you for $2, my friend. Father sent to war had an establishment-based wife. Fathers that were remembered with legacy. Fathers sent to war had an established-based wife. That's often true. Right there. Oh, I think we're going. Okay, I think where he's going with that. There's a saying now in the womanosphere. There's a manosphere, the womanosphere. I don't know what that will be called. Right, whatever. On the woman's side of this, which is what happened to the men who used to go to war. That's a thing they say, right? Which is like saying, why are there no good men out there? Because according to these women, all men are bad. Because when the men are saying all women are bad. What the men mean is women aren't acting traditional as they want them to act. That's what they really mean when they say that, right? When the women say all men are bad, they mean the same thing. Men aren't being traditional. The problem is both sides see the opposite as not worthy. That's the issue, right? So a man goes, well, the women aren't being traditional. So why would I, be with them? And a woman goes, well, you're not manly enough. You're not traditional enough. You're not doing the things. You're not going to war. So why would I? That's how a woman sees it, right? That's her view. Well, then a woman goes, well, the men aren't worthy. They're not. And the man goes, well, you're not feminine. Like you're established. Like, so you're not. So why would I? Both sides are saying the opposite. So I think that's what you're saying. Let me take that. Yeah. When men went to war, which was traditionally what men did, women were at home. That's true. That's accurate. So now women are saying, why aren't men going to war? Well, then a man's retort will be, well, why aren't you staying home with children? That would be a retort. Both don't make any sense. They're not required for you to have a relationship. Now, you may prefer that, and preferences are fine. If you prefer your spouse to stay at home, good for you. No argument. You do as you see fit. But neither argument is valid in just overall, right? That, well, you must do X to do Y. Anyway, I'll move on if I can. Lenari says, Larry for governor. Thank you. Yes. Rick says, I thought Dave Smith was part of the problem. True. He said so himself. True. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. So you guys are going back with, I love it. Yes. Mike says only the left needs approval and reassurance for the decisions they make from random social media. That's the blue sky bubble in action. I think you do find more. I wouldn't say left. I mean, okay. Yes, but not because it's left. So I'm going to say yes with a caveat. I think it's heavily because of the feminization of blue sky, right? The idea of society has to say yes. Men retreat when they think they need approval. They just retreat. You see men do it. You, Mike, you and I have seen this 1,000 times. How many men have just retreated and said, I'm out, I'm done. They retreat. Women don't retreat like that. Women go out and try to get validation. Men say, I don't need anything. I'm out. So I think it's left. I think you're correct, but it's not because it's left. I think it's correct because more women are left. That's what I think. This to me seems more of a gender issue. Patty says, Larry, you and I raised our kids by talking to them. Yes. We told them the truth, showed them how the real world works. Yep. Taught the how to talk to others who think differently. One of two. Okay, I have a second one coming. See if I can find a second one here. Hold on. There we go. Thanksgiving was chill, fun. We played games and laughed, even had a few social political discussions. Food was delicious. Yes, look, I have done holiday parties at people's houses here in New York City. And in New York City, most people lean left. It's obvious. Not making that up. We all know. Most people do. Most of my friends here, family friends who I've had here, most of them lean left. Vote Democrat all the time. Think Trump's an evil guy. Terrible, blah, blah, blah. That's a common thought process. I still go to their house. They don't libertarian. We either don't talk politics or I talk nice to them. And if I think things get spicy, I just stop. I don't have to be right. I value my relationships more than me being right. And here's the next thing. I tell my daughters this all the time. And this goes back to Mike's earlier point about getting validation. I tell my daughters all the time, the more someone needs to be told they're right, the more they know they're wrong. The more someone requires social proof for their viewpoint, the more they know it's socially unacceptable and it's wrong. It's how it works. I don't need you all to tell me I'm right. I know I'm right. I like when you tell me I'm right. Have you tell me I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. I know I'm right. It's fine. And I'm open to being wrong because you guys have seen me be wrong and I've said it the very few times. Don't get all uppity. The very few times. So yes. But yeah, I'm not concerned. So yes. So Phil says, I'm here to change opinions and socks. I'm all out of socks. Well, I'm sorry you're out of socks, my friend. We need to get you some more socks. Still change opinions, but sucks that you're out of socks. That's not good. So, yes. All righty. D says, I know this chick in Jax. I think you mean Jacksonville. She straight up has cut anyone out of her life that voted for Trump. Yes, I know people who have done that too. Yes. People have asked me that. I think I remember, I'm not telling you guys this story. It's a true story. I'm at my local deli. I forgot what I'm picking up. I don't know. I was picking half and half or something, whatever. Maybe getting money. I forgot the ATM, whatever. I was doing something at my local deli. And was like, when I go to the front, there's a woman there on her phone with, I assume talking to her friend. And she's openly just talking, blah, 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 talking loudly. And she says to the girl, I assume her friend on the phone, she says, oh, yeah, she had to figure out, early in this dating, where she stood. She had to figure out early. So she had to ask him just straight up, what do you think about Elon? I thought to myself, that is the thing you care about in a man you're dating? That I'm assuming you would want to date seriously. You'd want to maybe spend the rest of your life with, maybe raise children with, maybe get married to. My assumption was all these things because why else would you care that much? And your number one question is, what do you think about Elon? And my piece is, how broken are we? How broken are we? We're that broken. Yes. Shelly says, my first husband chose drugs or everyone, but alcohol. It's so sad to watch. Yes. Shelly, when you have addicts in your life, it's what they do. And it doesn't feel good. You always think, no, but I'm his wife, or I'm her kid, or, it's my dad, it's my sister, it's my cousin. It's not us, not me, no. Ronna says, my parents think the Dems are still a part of JFK, and they think the a-holes burning their cities are anarchists. I stopped talking politics years ago. This is their issue, Ronna, right? Older people often still think that things haven't changed, and they still or don't want them to change. They think, yeah. I honestly think that RFK Jr. I think he honestly believed that he could bring the Democratic Party back to the party of JFK and his dad. I think he believed it. I think he was thinking, that's in the party and we could do that. And if I just showed up, it could happen. I think he believed it. Clearly, the Democratic Party is nowhere near what it was in the 70s. I mean, 60s, nowhere near 70s, nowhere near that party. It's not that party at all. It's a totally different party. But I think he believed it. I think in his mind, he believed it. I think Nicole Shanahan thought, yeah, we could do this. I think they believed it. Clearly, they were incorrect. But I don't think they did it because, they were lying or trying to fool people. I think they were just wrong. So Phil says, Larry, it's good insight. Politics has become addiction. For many people, it's become their life. It's become their identity. It's become their identity. And I'm someone who talks trash all the time, right? I'm online talking trash about politics, 3, 4, 5 times a week? It's still not even my identity. Yeah, for many people, it's their identity. Like, I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, I'm a progressive, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm like, dude, really? That's okay. I mean, you could do that, up to you, but I love being a libertarian, but I don't talk about it every day. I don't say it every day. I mean, I live it because it's who I am, but, anyway. Lenari says, Larry, you know what works for me when people want to talk politics and I don't? I tell them I'm libertarian. That does shut them right up. That's true. That just, or they yell at you, one or the other. Yes. It's amazing how I'll meet people, talk to them for a while, and they'll have no idea that I ever ran for office, that I'm into politics at all. It's about whatever. And then later on, they'll be like, hey, did you run for governor? Yeah, I did. I didn't know that. Well, because you didn't ask. So I didn't say. You didn't ask. So whatever. I meet people all the time. Don't talk about politics. Doesn't matter. So yes. Andrea says, I am an asshole. I drive slow in ultra fast lane while driving almost insane. That does make you an asshole, Andrea. It does. It's true. It does. True. Yes. Kinsuya says, I'm glad that wasn't the case with your mom, that you had a chance to reconcile. I did have a chance to reconcile with my mom. And the story was that when she finally collapsed, all the people who she thought were her friends all of a sudden weren't there anymore. And the only person there was me. So I literally rebooted my entire life. I took all my money that I had saved from my Marine Corps days and just used it all to get her up and running. I got her a car, an apartment, had to help her get a job. She couldn't get a job right away. So I had to pay for everything until she got a job, got up and running. But it worked. And, she was sober till the day she died, clean till the day she died. And we had a great relationship at the end. She had a relationship with my daughters. So yeah, I can't complain. I am very lucky when it comes to that, right? Many people who've had addicts in their lives never get that. I did get that. So I can't complain when it comes to that. So yes. Patty says, I have a native friend who jokingly said he rented himself out for a meal and would show up at a friend's house to give the real story. He had a sense of humor. That's kind of cute. It's not, I like that. I'll show up because I want to eat and then I tell cool stories. That's not a bad deal. But you have to time it right? That's the only issue. You got to time it right. And then if you're really savvy, get people to drive you to the next one. Now you're rock and rolling, right? So I get Patty to pick me up for the first morning one, or maybe it's an early one, like a noon one. I get Patty to pick me up, and she drops me off at Kintsugi's house, and then I eat there. And then Kintsugi takes me over to Bronner's house. I eat there. That's the hookup. If you can make that happen, and you start Thursday and do it also then Friday, Tuesday, 2 full days, 6 meals and driven around, tell stories. All right, now I got something about, Patty. That's not a bad deal. I like that. Yeah, that's good. So John says, so liberal cut off our parents. Yes, I get it. Yes. Phil says, there was a great conversation between Theo Vaughn and J.D. Vance where Vance said he was very fortunate there wasn't fentanyl when his mother was an addict. And yes, I want to bring this piece up for those of you who believe the other propaganda that's out there, which is, they're hiding and lying about fentanyl and that's killing people. That's not true. That's propaganda. That's not true. These people want fentanyl. People say, well, you touch fentanyl, you'll die, it kills you, but that's utter propaganda, not true. No, you don't die from touching fentanyl. That's absolute garbage. That's not true. That's shit the cops say to scare you. None of that shit's true. Fentanyl is used as a drug in places. You don't die because you touch it. That's horseshit they made up to make you scared of fentanyl and make the Chinese evil or whatever, the Venezuelans evil or whoever's the evil people of the day. They all obviously shove fentanyl in our veins. No, these people are looking for fentanyl. They know there's fentanyl in it. It's for those of you who have addicts in your life and you know them well, you know they're looking for the big high. They want fentanyl. They're asking for it. They don't OD because someone snuck fentanyl into it. No, they OD because of one of three things. One, because they were clean for a while and they're getting back into it and their tolerance has changed. So they took too much of it, number one. Number two, it's just dirty because it's the black market. Yes, not because it was snuck in. Something else was in it because of the black market, right? Or number three, they don't know how much is in it. So either it's dirty or they don't know how much because of the black market. That's why. It's not because they're sneaking fentanyl. It's not a thing. That's made up bullshit. None of that's true. If you know addicts, ask them. They want it. They're looking for it. It's not getting snuck in. And there'll be a story. Well, some kid thought he was taking this and took that. Yeah. One out of how many? Lose what, 100 people a day or some shit like that? And you heard one story every month. So one out of 3,000, 30,000 people is someone, right? 1 out of 3,000 people is someone who by mistake took it. Okay, yeah, maybe 1 out of every 3,000, maybe, maybe. But the 299,000 who died of overdose wanted it. It was something wrong. They either made a mistake or it's the black market. And that's what happens when it's not, somehow controlled. So yes, but I think he's probably right. I agree with that. All righty. Phil goes, Theo Vaughn says, getting to this point where you can't even do cocaine in this country anymore. Well, if you wouldn't make cocaine so expensive by making a war on drugs, you could. And he's laughing, but he shouldn't be laughing. If you get my point. It's very rare for the wealthy to overdose. It does happen, right? But when they overdose, it's usually because their doctor overprescribed. It's usually not because they went someplace and got bad stuff, right? Because generally speaking, right, if you notice when the wealthy overdose, not people who are desperate, when wealthy overdose, they tend to overdose because a doctor prescribed them wrong, right? Or whatever, overprescribes them. That's often the case, right? Or they're trying to literally commit suicide. They're trying to do the deed. But mistaken overdose is not as common with the wealthy. Why? Because they have better drugs. Why? Because they're wealthy. Because they're wealthy. That's why. So, all right. Alexa is over on Rumble. She says, I got lucky with that too. My dad got put into an ultimatum and he chose us over heroin. Alexa, that's amazing. I wish that my mom had had that happen. I wish that an ultimatum would have turned her, but what turned her was prison. Ultimatum did not do it. It was prison. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. Shelly says, we had a rule in our marriage, don't get dead. That meant not drinking and driving, not ingesting anything that you could overdose, and no extramarital affairs that could result in deadly STDs. Smart rule. I'm glad you followed it. Nice. Dee says, I just found out someone I grew up with died a year ago from fentanyl overdose. His sister died a year before that from the same thing. My mom had to bury them both. They were my age. Wow. Wow. Okay. So the sister dies, and then he or she dies after the sister dies from a fentanyl overdose. The addicts pick the drug over everybody. That's it. Yes. Over everybody. Yes. So, Kizuki says, I'll meet Larry one day in his lifetime. You got to come up to New York. Come on up. I'm here. I'm here. In fact, just because you mentioned that, let me take that as an opportunity, if I may, let you know where I'm heading this weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I'll be at December 5th. I have one more stop, which I have not posted yet, but I'm on my way. Friday, December 5th, I will be at the Belmar Pub and Grill in Binghamton, New York at 1 p.m. on December 5th, Friday. So during the day, Friday. Guys, if you can get there, please get there. I struggle to get people to show up on Fridays. In the afternoon, I struggle. You can imagine. It's a lunchtime event. Why am I doing that? Because I got to get all the way out to Cattaraugus County. So I want to make a stop by. I'm gonna have to have lunch anyway. So I'm trying to have a stop that Friday. Come out and see me. It'll surely be a small group. That's the advantage of a Friday afternoon. It'll probably be me and like 2 dudes. Just being very forward with you. Friday afternoon is tough. So come on out. You get to hang out with me. Just me and you. We can hang out and chill. So do that if you can make it. Otherwise, come to the evening event, which will have more people at it because it's Friday evening. You'll have more people. Come to that one if you want to at Randy's Fireside at 6 p.m. in Olean. Doesn't that sound cool? Olean, New York, which is out in Cattaraugus County. Come out there if you can. The next day, December 6th, Saturday, come to the Brothers Restaurant and Bar in Buffalo, New York. Yes, I'm in Buffalo in December. What was I thinking? But I had to do it Saturday. I couldn't do it Sunday. Sunday, nobody will come because football. So that's why I can't do it then. So Saturday, I'm in there. And then 2:30 at the Village House Restaurant in Albion. And then at Scoville's Grill in Danville, New York, that same day at 7 p.m. And then Sunday, I'll be at Ithaca. Yes, Ithaca. Boy, do they hate me in Ithaca. They do. But I go anyway because I need to. I'll be in Ithaca, New York at Ithaca's Ale House at 1 p.m. There'll be something else popping up there later on. That's what I have as of now. There'll be one more event. So there'll be about 7 events this next weekend, December 5th, December 6th, and 7th. Join me if you can. I'd love to have you guys out there to come see me and say hi. All righty. Let me walk down a couple of these roads if I can. I did cover that piece already. All right. Patty says, I ask my kids about my device all the time. After my stroke, I had to swallow my pride and ask for help with my hair. Yes, sometimes look, Patty, there is a thought process, and I'm okay with it, right? When my little ones were little, right, I took care of them. That's what I did. You did too. And when you and me get older, they're going to take care of us. That's how it works. That's not a bad thing. That's the way of things. So, yeah, having a stroke, maybe they're going to take care of it a bit earlier than you thought. But they were going to take care of you either way. It was going to be now or 10, 20 years from now, whatever. It was going to happen. Maybe a little earlier. It's fine. They're going to take care of me too. So far, not too much now. Here or there, yeah. I mean, my daughter now's cooking, so, she's already starting it, so, yes. Mike says, I've had friends from college who I gave a home when their family abandoned them. Walk away from me recently because I'm the same Republican I was in college. Yeah, it's terrible. That is terrible. You know, if you were good enough then, why are you not good enough now? Right? Because virtue signal. Because virtue signal matters. And it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. It's bad. So speaking of that, here's something that we should be worried about. We should want to be thankful. And I've been talking about being thankful, things to be proud of. I'll cover that in a minute. But before I walk down that road, there's another place you can talk about being thankful. You know where that is? You knew it was civil. It's always civil. It is. Civil is a very special show that just came out. Episode 476 of Words and Numbers is about literally being thankful. Literally.
Coming up next on Words and Numbers, Border Patrol, delayed data, weeds giving, and things we're thankful that we don't have. All this and more coming up on Words and Numbers, a Civil original production. Check us out at civil.com. That's CIVL.com.
He is correct. It is CIVL.com. But here's the thing you don't know. Well, some of you know. If you join Civil, you can get 10% off. How? By putting in the code Larry10. Larry, the coolest name on the internet, and 10 for 10% off. You do that and you can watch things like this. They're talking about things they're thankful they don't have. Huh. Where do we go with that? I'll cover that in a second. But the point is, they're thankful things that they actually don't have. Think about that. That is the kind of thing you will get on Civil. It actually is something that's so cool that if you look at things like this, you have this kind of conversation where you can really think. I was just talking about earlier, people tend to spend the time in their echo chambers. Mike was talking about being in a blue sky bubble, right? If you're always in that bubble, how will you ever change? How will you ever turn? How will that ever shift? It won't. But it can if you watch things like this show, obviously, and also Civil, CIVL.com, because what Civil does, it allows you to have good conversations, see real information, go back and forth here without the conflict machine, without the bubble, and I'm on it, which makes it even better. Yes, it does. You can check out all my shows there too, CIVL.com, code Larry10 for 10% off. Thanks, guys. All right, so thank you, Mike. You gave me that ability to pop that in. I appreciate that. Don't know if you were doing it on purpose, but well done. All righty. Andrea says, before I was married, I never cared what someone's political views were. This is something recent. It is, and I got to go one step further. It isn't just politics. I brought up politics, but it's also now the court system. The court system in America, the one thing that's good is it is getting better. It is getting better. Why do I say this? When you look at how many kids now are being raised without both biological parents in the household, Now, that's happened in the past. Don't get me wrong. There's problems, issues, someone passes away, or the case may be. But when you have an extended family, which we don't anymore, generally speaking, we don't. If dad or mom passed, aunt or uncle or grandma or grandpa or somebody else was there to kind of pick up that slack, not just in the work that needs to get done in any given family, but also in the examples that people needed to see what was womanhood, what was manhood, what was adulthood, what was responsibility, right? You could see how it could work with the people around you, right? So you could do that. Harder now, much harder now. And not just that, we live in different cities. The court system is concerned about money, not about the kid. I'm not joking when I say that. The court would rather have a father write a big check to the mom than see the kid. Larry, you're making this up. No, I'm not. That's the reality of it. Now, I lost my father when I was a kid. And what made me so angry is I remember talking to so many men and their children seeing them once in a while and that kind of thing. And the dad going, I don't get to see my son. I don't get to see my daughter. I can't see them. I have to spend all my money this. And when I told them that I couldn't, give them the money, the judge said, get a second job. Get a second job was the answer. Not mom get a second job, dad get a second job to keep paying. And he's like, well, then I can't see my son. And the judge, well, you should have thought of that before you got divorced. Like that's how the judge was. Go to hell. You have to pay. You had a kid, pay. Now, as a kid, here's what I would tell you. I didn't have a dad when I was growing up. I didn't have one. As a teenager, I didn't have a dad. I would have taken a broke dad over no dad any day of the week. I would have happily taken a broke ass dad over no dad. Wouldn't have thought twice. Would have taken it in a heartbeat. And would have smiled having it. And would have smiled having a dad who just hung around with me and threw the baseball around with me when I was a kid. I'd rather taken that. Play chess with me. I'd rather had that. Taught me how to talk to girls. Taught me how to be a man. Whatever. Taught me how to drive. Ride a bike. Anything. Well, you got to give money. Poor kids still need dads. Somehow poor kids can still grow up to be good people when they have moms and dads in their lives. You think the court system cares about that? No. Why? Because the court system makes money off of kids. That's why. Our court system is getting better, but it is far slower than it should be. Our court system encourages money transfers, not family. Our court system encourages whoever lies getting ahead. So if you're a deadbeat dad, you're good to go. You are set if you're a good deadbeat dad. If you're the kind of dad who hides his money with his mom in Florida and then pretends that they don't work, you're good to go. But who has to pay for that? The dad who isn't that. The dad who isn't that pays for you. That's how that actually works. If you're the crazy ma who's actually on drugs, you're good to go. You're fine. You're going to get the kid anyway. You're going to get tons of money. You can pay your drugs. I'm not joking. That's true. And who's going to pay for that? The mom who's not that. She pays for that. That's how our system works. And the judges know it and don't care. I know, Larry, mad at judges every week because they have failed us yet again. They know it. They see it happening and they keep doing it. So they go, there's the woman who we know lied, who we know is on drugs. Give her the kids. There's the guy who we know has to have money somehow. He's in a brand new suit. He got a brand new car out front, but says he has no money. Nothing. But he's flying back to Florida every other week. Well, guess he doesn't have to pay anything because he has no money. That's happening all the time. That's happening every day. And the judges know that. They're the ones doing it. Well, who's supposed to stop it? Them. They're the judges. They don't. But they're starting to. Why are they starting to? Because they see the light? Yes, because they're being hit with themselves. Because now it's in their family. This goes to everything. When we try to hammer people who we think are undesirables, whether that's by race or creed or social background, whatever it is, eventually it hits the other people. Eventually it does. It takes time, but it does. And now it's hitting them. And now they're getting hammered in their own system, going, damn, this system sucks. Yeah, it does. You made it. So it's starting to change. you're starting to see things begin to change. It's not as good as it needs to be, but it is starting to change. It is. But the problem now becomes something else. I'll go one step further. Well, the courts are beginning to change. The problem is people aren't getting married as much anymore. Yes. That's another issue. They're not getting married as much. The people getting divorced now are older people getting divorced. 50s, 60s, 40s. They have a saying, I forgot what it's called. It's called the gray divorce. I forgot. They have some kind of name for it. I forgot what it's called. But they actually have a name for it. That's how bad it is. So now even when TikTok doesn't break the family up, we do. But TikTok does break the family up because it's like the same thing. So now social media. So now I'm a man and I'm watching social media, and all I see is, all I see is AI girlfriends who are telling me I'm the hottest guy in the world, whatever. Well, my AI girlfriend does whatever I want. Why'd I have a wife? Or I got a wife who's on TikTok and hearing, you deserve more, queen. Your man's doing bare minimum. So I got AI and social media telling people, oh, your wife's not good enough. Your husband's not good enough. Okay, maybe one person says that. Who cares? What happens when you hear that every day and you're scrolling on your phone for hours a day? And for hours a day, your wife hearing, you go, queen. There's a Prince Charming out there for you. Your man is doing bare minimum, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, maybe he is. Or you're a man. All you see is, hey, I'm the coolest new AI girlfriend. Come talk to me. I love you. Or you got an OF, as you know, that model who's telling you how handsome you are. Just give me $10 a month or whatever the fee is, whatever the number is of the day, right? Whatever. Is it $10? Whatever. $5 a month, whatever. Do that. And I'll tell you how awesome you are. And I'll give you special shows. I'll wear the stuff that your wife won't wear. I'll say the things your wife won't say. What do you expect? What do you expect? So I got a court system. So I have a media world that's telling me that if they don't believe the same politics you believe, you should avoid them, run away with them, call them names. I got politics saying that. I got mainstream media telling me that. I got a court system ready to wreck me and trash me and scare with everybody. And I got social media telling me that my spouse ain't good enough. And then I deserve better because I'm awesome and I'm super cool. And my spouse obviously is horrible because come to the OnlyFans model, or you go, queen. Whatever you pick the side you want to pick. It's just terrible. There's no good side there. It's a problem. AI piece is bugging me. It is bothering me because they've looked now, and there's some data on this now. They've got some data, and about 15% of men have interacted with some form of AI companion, and about 30% of women. It's more women than men. That I was surprised about. When I said that, I was like, what? It's more women than men. Now, men, of course, they partake in the professional women. I'll say that. The professional women, online and otherwise, far more than women do. Women do also, but far less. The numbers are far more males than females partake in the professional women workers, if you know what I'm saying, both online and in person. But women actually are having AI companions more than men are. That I didn't think that was going to happen. That has actually happened. But as I hear about it, it now makes sense. It now makes sense. And that's what's happening now. So the other part is you're finding a lot of people who are just giving up on love. Totally giving up on love because of all these things. They think there's no way that I can match up. How can I match up to the perfect example, what some woman has made up in her head? Her friends have made her friend. How can I match up to that person? I can't be that perfect person, right? Because she's a queen and she deserves perfection. I'm not perfection. I can't live to that. Well, I'm a woman. How can I possibly match up to the AI girlfriend or the OF model who's going to do anything the guy says whenever he says so because she's paying her? How can I match up? So I said to myself, why bother? I can't match up with what the other guy or gal is thinking. I can't match. It's impossible. I can't compete with that. And I deserve better anyway. So who's worthy of me or whatever? So I got two sides. So people are giving up. About 50% of Americans between 18 and 45 have given up on love. I want you to understand that. About 50%. That's a problem. That's a problem. Next step I'll bring up. When it comes to people who are living without a spouse or romantic partner, 25 to 34. It's about 50%. Back in 1975, 25%. It's doubled in 50 years. Doubled in 50 years. The percentage of people 25 to 34 living without a romantic partner or spouse in the household. This is not good. Why do I bring all this up? There are so many reasons for us to not want to be together for whatever reason, to not pair bond, to not join each other, to not have families, to not be together. Why would we make politics one of them? Why would we do that? I'm asking you as a person, you out there talking to people, don't let politics be another thing against us. We got social media against us. We got mainstream media against us. We got court system against us. We got tons of things against us. We don't need another thing against us. It's politics. The glory of libertarian politics, the glory of it is you can do you. That's the glory. That is the glory. So anyway, we keep going on here. Phil says, haven't seen the Warriors. Okay. You need to see it. Yes. Mike, yeah, I knew you had the word. I knew you loved that movie. Yes, I did. Of course, the guy who says the guy named Cyrus, as he's talking to everyone, he ends some of his important speeches to see if the people understand him. He doesn't say, "Are you right?" He says, "Can you dig it?" That's what he says. And they'll go, "Yay!" He loves Cyrus. That's the guy's name, Cyrus. So, remember the guy, the bad guy, what his name was? It was Luther. That was the bad guy. I'm not going to tell anything else in case you've seen it. So, yes, there we go. All righty. Kentucky says, let's all have movie night and watch it, and I'll show you how to do it on here. You can't do it here. I think you can do it on locals, maybe? Let's see if I can figure it out. It's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. Yes. Brona says, you watch the Warriors, and I watch the Pope of Greenwich Village. Yeah. Warriors want to. No, he doesn't say want to play. He says Warriors come out and play. He says, and he has the bottles. For those of you who remember back in the day, they used to make beers in the small beer bottles, right? So he puts the beer bottles on his fingers and he clicks them. As he clicks them, he goes, Warriors come out to play. That's what he says. So yes. So yeah. Phil says there was Escape from New York. Maybe I'll have my daughters watch that one too. I was actually considering having my daughters watch Animal House, believe it or not. It's one of the older ones that I might have them. So we'll see. Maybe. I'm not sure. So it's something, but okay. It had some serious undertones, but it wasn't really serious. I mean, if you watch the gangs, it's almost like the gangs are almost comical. It's almost, I mean, there were no gangs that looked like that when we were kids, Mike. Come on. It's almost like they were doing a Broadway play and they were ready to start. They're ready to start doing that as they was dancing, that it was almost like that, but there were some serious ideas. So yes, Phil says, and would Larry pause every 30 seconds? All of a sudden, the 1.5 hour movie is going to be 4 hours plus. 100% yes. If we do a movie night, it's 5 hours. I might make Mike cry. I don't want to make Mike cry. I might. It'll be a long one. Absolutely. Yes. Notice says breaking up the extended family did the most damage. True. This part that people don't talk about. We've somehow made the nuclear family the magic pill. And I get why. I do. It compared to what we have, nuclear family is way better. True. Better, but not the best. The best is extended. That's what we're supposed to be in. Humans are supposed to be in extended family. If I can't get that, I will take nuclear, but extended is the best. It is. So, Lunatic, thank you for being a member, my friend. Larry, I'm seeing many moderates gaining influence. Please have your team look into it. Fear no man or system. Create your own outcomes. Be the one. This is a tough one, Lunatic, right? There's value to moderates and there's fear of moderates, both. moderates sometimes give people hope and move them, right? Because sometimes someone can't go from here to here, right? They just can't do it, right? They can't go from the government's awesome for everything, and of course the government loves me and daddy loves me, to dude, get on your own. Sometimes they can't make that shift. It's just they can't mentally make that shift. And the moderate can be a good like way station to get them there. I think that's valuable, right? But they can also wind up just becoming an establishment. So I'm not sure where you're going with that. I'm not against the moderates. I think they have value. I think they can be very good way stations for people who they can't make the mental jump. And the moderate allows them to have a way station before they make the next jump. I'm okay with that. But sometimes people just go to the moderate and go, oh, now it can just be establishment and we're fine. But again, sometimes I take what I can get. I know you don't always agree with that. I understand that. But yeah, I think we could do that. Thank you, by the way, for being a member, guy. I do appreciate that. Guys, I didn't really mention it, but click the button known as like. Please do so. It does matter. I know I ask you all the time. I'm trying to make this grow. The only way I can is click the like button. Please share, repost this now if you would. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I ask this all the time, but please do so. If you want to follow Suit, please become a member. Click that join button over on YouTube or on Rumble. You can during the live only. And again, if you want your question to go to the front, you can super chat me or Rumble rant me. Either one works. I'm on Rumble tonight. I know I was the other night. Had some tech issues, but those tech issues have been repaired. So if you have a moment, please check it out if you want to. I would appreciate that. So, all righty. Let me keep walking down some more of these roads if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Phil says, great use of Discord. Oh, can you run Discord? All right, let's have a chat in that, Phil. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. Let me see if that makes any sense. So, all right. Because I'm not against having a movie night. Just it would be a long one probably. Be a good conversation back and forth. That'd be good. We bring some people on. Not bad. 2 the people doing it. If I'm not a bad idea. So yes. So, all right. John says, I completely agree with the loss of extended family. Smaller families with siblings spread around the country makes community hard. Add in the loss of religious participation and community support was lost. Yeah, look, whether you are religious or not, I know some people are, some people aren't, even if you're not, the glory of the community of a local church is very valuable. It's very valuable when you get that religious church. It really is. So there's definitely value there if you can do that. That's amazing if you can. So I agree with that. But we're talking about this idea of people in general, going back and forth. Here's the story that Mike brought up about, he was a Republican then and now he's Republican. And they all of a sudden, they like him or don't like him, that kind of thing. Look, I want us to recognize there is a way of having this conversation. Yep, I'm going to bring up the people who you think I'm going to bring up and that is the advocates. The advocates for self-government. If you head over to that link that I brought, that is at the description in both YouTube and on Rumble, if you could do that, that'd be amazing. Click that specific link. Click that link and head over and take the World's Smallest Political Quiz. But I'm going to ask something else of you today. Today, I'm going to ask something special of you. I usually ask you to take it. I don't want you to take it. I want you to take that link, and I want you to take that link and send it to somebody. Take that link that's in the description of Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook, either one. Take that link and send that to somebody else and ask them to take the World's Smallest Political Quiz. Say, hey, my friend Larry's asked me to take it. Let's do that. Take this thing. Go ahead and do it. Please do that. It does matter why. They'll talk about it. They might tell you, I didn't realize I was a moderator. I didn't realize I was a libertarian. I didn't realize I was a so-and-so. They may not realize where they fall. They may not. And they may have moved. The advantage of this also for some people is if you take it now, wait a couple years, take it again, you might change. You might become more this, more that, more the other. You might do that. So guys, please do it if you want to. Support the show. It's free. Click the link I told you about. Send that link to somebody else. Have them take the World's Smallest Political Quiz and talk about it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. Wesley, hooking me up, brother. Good show needs more viewers. Are you sure you want to go that high, my friend? I appreciate it, but I tell you what I'll do. I tell you what I'm going to do, Wesley. I'm going to take that and I'm going to advertise with it. You want more viewers? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to advertise with it. I'm going to let you know how it works. I hope it works well. I hope it works well. I appreciate the support tremendously. I'm going to take that and I'm going to do some advertising with it. And I may ask a buddy of mine who does advertising if he knows a better way of doing it to make sure it works well. I'll do that so I can make sure I do it. I will take that and I will advertise with it and we'll rock and roll. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the support tremendously. I am trying to get more people on here. I will use this hopefully as a way, and we'll see if we get a big chunk. I'll start as of probably next month, December or so. We'll make it happen. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Andrea, thank you for the gift. Sharpe Way. Look at this, guys. Look, the memberships matter. Please keep the memberships going. I appreciate the train. Andrea does one. Phil, right there. Adirondack. Thank you guys for all the memberships. You guys keep going. I love you supporting it. Wesley, you are a champion, brother, making that happen. We will move forward with that to the best of our ability. We will rock and roll. It's all we have to do in reality is get the people who are already here to just show up to see it. There's enough people who are here who don't see it, who don't get it. There's enough of them. I completely agree. And maybe I'll have to grab some more people around here too to come back on. The problem is once it's chicken and egg, right? Heavy hitters don't want to come on until it's big. It doesn't get big until heavy hitters come on. So it goes back and forth. So we'll try that. Thank you for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. Kinsugi, thank you. Gift and membership. We are rock and rolling, guys. Great night, guys. I appreciate it. You guys give me a wonderful Thanksgiving gift. I appreciate all the help. Absolutely. All right, grab some more of these if I can. All righty. Kinsugi says, look at your daughter. She's on it. She is. It's true. Yes. Andrew says, I made keto crusses pumpkin pie. Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. I love that. Very good. All righty. Kinsugi says, African-American Friday. Hopefully correct. That's cute. Very cute. Yes. I love that. All righty. Phil says, I don't think I've met a black person who likes African-American. It makes people feel like they're separate. My friend Terrell will say Caucasian Americans, and it gives me a chuckle. Yeah, I don't mind African-American. I don't, but I prefer black. I grew up with black. I remember my father, I don't want to get in trouble here on YouTube because you can't say regular words. My father grew up with the word Negro. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube or not. But yeah, he grew up with that word, and he was fine with it. I mean, Malcolm X identified that way. So did MLK, right? Because the alternative word was far worse. So that's how they grew up. They were fine with it. My father was too. My father was, yeah, it's fine. He didn't mind being called black either. He didn't care. It's fine. I grew up being called black. Black is fine with me. I never had a problem with it. As a youngster, it was the black is beautiful movement. I'm black and I'm proud. Doesn't bother me at all. I prefer black, but I don't get mad by African American. It's whatever. I don't care either way. So yes. Wesley says, Mom, Donnie should come back on your show. He was an excellent guest. More importantly, will bring you attention. I agree. The problem is he is literally months behind. The odds of me getting him back on before his transition, slim to none. Now, once he's in play, do I have a shot? I do. I have a shot once he's in play. But his transition, I know people who are working with him in his team. He's only going on the best place he can possibly get. Otherwise, he's not. So, yes. Andrea says, we need to stop demonizing to each other. Yes. I call it the one-word sentence, don't I? The one-word story. It's the one-word story, right? So, yes. All righty. See if I can go here again. John says, if you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth. Yes. Liberal and mainstream media doctrine. They just keep saying it. Kinsley says, when was Mom Donnie on your show? I looked on here and I couldn't find it. Yeah, just go into YouTube and put Larry Sharpe and then Zora Mamdani. You'll see my interview pop up. 3 years ago, I told you, I knew he was a player before. Kinsugi, I'm always ahead of the curve, my dear. I'm always ahead of the curve. I knew he was a player before anyone else did. I already knew. Absolutely. So, Nosy, thank you, my friend. Member for 4 months. Thank you. How do I give the gift membership? I actually don't know. I wish I knew. I just sit here and keep yapping through it. I'm not sure. I'm sure someone who's done it can say it. So yes, I'd appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Let's see if I grab a couple more of these if I can. Okay. Robert says, for Black Americans, the nuclear family did not just break down of happenstance. It was targeted. True. Accurate statement. Totally accurate. And you can see the damage it's done. Robert, it's obvious. right? And this is the point I bring up. Whenever you initially target any marginalized group, any minority, whatever, it eventually comes back. It comes home to roost, as Malcolm X said. It does come back. To roost, and it has. Right. The opioid epidemic was in the Black community in the 80s, 90s. Right. It was back then, and all of a sudden, 2000 is like, oh my God, it's an epidemic. It had been ripping the Black community apart for 20 years before it was a whole epidemic. I agree completely. Yes. Lorna says, I have a niece who asked me if I voted for Obama the first time, knowing I have never and will never vote. When I said no, she called me a racist and hasn't spoken to me since. Yeah, that tracks. That does track. Yes. I wish it didn't, but it does track though. Yes. More times. Yes. All righty. Wesley goes, Mom Dami was on the show. The episode was titled, Can Sewer Socialism Fix New York? He called himself a sewer socialist. And I was like, very impressive. Very impressive. Yes. Because he didn't care. His ability to double down and not care and be a proud socialist, that was a strength that many people didn't really have who would be in the mainstream. It's a strength. You may hate socialists, but people respect strength, even if it isn't what they believe in. There's a whole lot of people who voted for Trump because he was just ready to fight the establishment. They had no idea what his policies were, no clue. Mamdani's similar in that regard. People just knew he was ready to fight. That's what they wanted. Lunatic says, I train my children with many skill sets. Am I wrong? Not at all, brother. But it doesn't mean you can't train them to think also. I hope you do both. I'm not saying you don't. I hope you do both. Skill sets are amazing. I love it. Excuse me. But also how to think, both, I think are good. Look, if your children don't like to think, I don't know your children at all, then maybe you focus on the skill set. If they like to think and don't like to do things, maybe you focus on how to think, but also give them skill sets. Excuse me, I got a bad cough. Train them on both. And probably your kids are probably different kids. Probably one kid loves to think more than the other. One kid likes to do more than the other because kids are just different. So I think you try to give them both, but focus on the ones who prefer doing. My opinion, it's my opinion. Your kids, as obviously you do as you see fit. My opinion is if you have a kid who prefers to do versus to plan and think, focus more on skill set, but still train how to think. If you have a kid who prefers the thinking and less doing, focus more on the think process, but also train skill sets. I think you need both. I would just change the focus depending upon what the kid is better at or prefers doing, I should say. Generally speaking, we're better at what we prefer. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, whatever you prefer, you're better at because you want to do it. So you're better at it. So yes. All righty. I got that one. All right. Okay. Hold on. What did I bring up? Okay, Mike says, I train my kids to be master ninja assassins. What other skill set would they need? I train my kids to be master ninja assassins. I mean, a whole lot. That's a very specific skill set. So, yeah, that's a very specific skill set. So, I don't know. Anyway, I would try to do many things. Many skill sets. So, yes, many skill sets. That would not be the only one. So, anyway, okay. Dal says, I'm late. In my opinion, the things RFK wants to accomplish with Maha are very supportive of families, but Susie Walz is blocking him. What are the chances MAGA wakes up and pressures Trump to fire her? I think zero. I think most people who are MAGA or America First, they're happy with Maha, but it's not a priority for them at all. Like, they're like, it's fine. Yay, Maha, nice. But they're not on it. I think Mike might also have a view on this, but my gut says, generally speaking, most MAGA or America First people, whichever one you want to go with or whatever side's fighting, they're not angry or happy about, like, it's fine, whatever, good, do your thing, RFK, go. But it's not a priority for them. They are fighting their own civil war and trying to get stuff done within their own worlds. Who's going to control, who's moving with Trump, what's happening with the Civil War. I don't think Maha is their priority at all. I don't think they're against it in general, unless they think it would somehow stop them or halt them in some way. I think they're relatively neutral. So because of that, I don't think they'll pressure Trump either way. That's just my gut. That's my gut. So, all righty. D says, I'll be talking to volunteers with a bunch of diehard Trump supporters at a charity poker tournament. Luckily, I'll be wearing my early Christmas sweater with guns on it, so we can talk about 2A also. Well, that'll get them going at least. So yes, that'll get them going. Yes. Lynn says, to understand the discipline of the ninja order or the samurai, then you're on the right track. All right. If you care about that, the book you have to read is the book called The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. And the ninja order or the samurais, that's called the Bushido. Bushido means Bushi means warrior, and Do means the way. So Bushido means the way of the warrior. If you want to understand Bushido, you have to understand to be either a samurai or a ninja. You have to understand Bushido. And you understand parts of it already, Lunatic. You do, I know. Whether you've read the book or not, I know you understand parts of it already. And one of the key aspects is you must accept that you were already dead and that all that matters is your legacy. If you accept that piece, that's the basic. There's so many other parts to it, obviously. It's the Book of Five Rings. There's 5 separate scrolls in it. And each was like water, fire, earth, whatever, all those things. But that's one of them. So if you want to understand discipline, read that book. That's a critical book to read, The Book of Five Scrolls by Miyamoto Musashi. I've read it. I've read it so many times, and I've literally highlighted it with a highlighter, pieces that I love. So yes. All righty. Adironic says, every fentanyl bust talks about the number of people it could kill. I don't know how many there are left. Exactly. Fentanyl is you don't touch fentanyl and die. That's not a thing. That's just not a thing. We just make that up. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Robert says, welfare and entitlement programs literally built a white middle class. The issue was not welfare. It was that Black Americans were cut up opportunities that were provided to others. I think that's too simple. I think it's too simple, Robert. I think it was multiple things. I think it was entitlement programs, but not only that. I think you're right. There were literally laws that cut Black Americans and Black Americans only out of things. I bring this up often. For those of you who care about this, go check out my Juneteenth show from about 3 years ago, and I walked down the road of how systemically only Black people were cut out by federal law. As I say always, Americans as a whole, and this makes people angry, but I don't care, it's true. Americans as a whole are not racist compared to other people in the world. They're not. We are tribal, and it's a difference. We are tribal. That's all humans are tribal. That's a common theme with people. But what made America such a racist society wasn't that the people were so racist. That's not the reason. It was because the government made rules and regulations that literally installed racism into it. We had segregation rules. We had redlining. We had literal guidelines in our system that said, if you build a new neighborhood out and you want government funding, it can only have X% of Italians, X% of Jews. I'm not joking. This is federal guidelines. You can see the paperwork. X% of Irish. Irish and Italians weren't considered white back in the day. They got promoted recently. So if you're Irish or Italian, congratulations, you became white. Well done, get promoted. But prior to that, you weren't. You were like separate thing, whatever. You weren't Black, but you were not white. And Jews also weren't white. So Jews weren't white. Italians and Irish were not white. So they had a separate thing, like 30%. I think it was 30% of a neighborhood could be that. 0 could be Black. 0. No Black people. And that's in federal guidelines to get mortgages. Again, if you think I'm making it up, do a Google search, do a Chat GPT, Grok, whatever you do, everything I just said is true. So yes. So again, if you are Jewish or Italian or Irish, you've been promoted. Congratulations. Prior to that timing, you were not. Right after World War II, you weren't white yet. You had to get promoted to being white. So anyway, I don't think it's that simple, Robert. I think it's multiple. It's that plus all those things, plus those institutionalized issues. I know, is it Ben Shapiro talks about how there's no such thing as institutionalized racism. Utter garbage. Utter Republican propaganda. Of course there is. Of course there is. Still to this day, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I mean, nowhere near as bad as it used to be. It's much. This is the part that the left gets wrong. The left acts like it's just as bad as it always has been. It's not. It is far better than it's ever been. Far better than when my dad grew up. Oh my God. Far better. My dad grew up in the 30s and 40s. Way better. So, but still issues. And I actually, if you care about that video, you can go back and check it out. I did a video with Ben Shapiro and me, and I went down he did a whole thing on why it doesn't exist, and I just tore it apart. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. He's utterly wrong on everything. Everything he did was utterly wrong. Ben Shapiro is completely wrong on this. It's Republican propaganda. It's garbage. There absolutely has been, and to this day still is some, but has been systemic racism for hundreds of years in America, and still is some today, but not as bad as it used to be. Anyway, so I don't think you go far enough, Robert. I think it's further than that. That's my issue. So yeah. Okay. Let me grab some more of these. All right. Shelly says, I hate the war on drugs because of this, Mike. When the higher ups are about to get busted, they put their products in weed. Also true. Yep. All right. You guys are going down a lot of these things. You have a lot of back and forth too. All right. Mike says, you may be surprised. Ed will be at Belmar. Might be a few more. Yeah, I know Ed will be there. I'm sure. That's what we picked. Ed let us in last time. Ed, by the way, if you guys know, Ed owns the joint in Belmar, in the Belmar in Binghamton. So yes, 100%. I love that. All righty. Keep going down here. Oh yeah, Shelly says they use fentanyl in cardiac surgery. I've had 5. Yes. Fentanyl is used. It's not a thing. You don't touch fentanyl and you die. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Yeah. 100%. All righty. Philo Abstract says, I totally missed the other week. Larry ended up 10 minutes from my job and I had no time. By the time I found out he was close by. Oh, next time. I would love to see you. I'll give you a big hug. And you've helped me out in the past before. I appreciate the work you've done. I'll give you a big old hug. I appreciate that. Yes. So Andrea says, I'll come to New York for your inauguration. I hope so. It will be in, if it does happen, it will be January of 2027. It'll be cold. That's okay. So yes, it will be cold, but that's fine. So, all righty. Phil says, oh, Don Robert, I don't disagree on that point, but I think it's oversold how much welfare help white people. I agree with you. No, Robert, Phil's correct. Welfare, what actually helped white women was affirmative action. Affirmative action was a boom to women in the workforce. It helped women in the workforce. That's where it really helped. But yeah, no, welfare trashes white people too. It does both. It trashes white people also. It does. I think he's right. Robert, I think you're exaggerating on I think he's correct. You're exaggerating on how much welfare helped white people. It hurt them also. Don't get me wrong, did some people here's the difference. Phil, I think maybe this is where Robert's going. If I'm going to read Robert correctly, right? When black people got welfare, they were unable to take advantage of the other programs that also existed. When white people got welfare, they were able to take other programs that were available for them. By law, the black people could not take them by law, could not do it. Like literally would just, no, you may not. So with that in mind, more white people were able to make the next step. I think that part's accurate. By percentage, more white people could make the next step. But no, welfare hurts white people too. So I think that's clear. I hope it is at least. So, all right. So many of these. I'm gonna try. I don't know if I can catch up to so many of these. So I appreciate what you guys are doing though. All righty. Grab this here. Oh yeah, Kinsley says it. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I remember there was a movie. There was a movie in, I think it was the 80s, called The Commitments. And it was about, I think it was an Irish band. It was an Irish band, or it was a British band full of Irish people in it. And the Irish were talking about how, we're going to make this band work because in the UK, the Irish are the black of the UK. And so a white guy with an Irish accent says, say it loud. and black and proud. Just made me laugh so much. I never forget that movie. The Commitments was the name of the movie. The guy says it. I'm like, what? So he was trying to be one of us, Kintsugi. He was trying to be. So yes. All righty. I don't know if you saw that movie, but it was a cute movie. So, all righty. I went down that road. John says, words like black, white, yellow, red should only be used as descriptors similar to the way we use hair, eye color. The issue is, and I say this all the time, are you trying to harm someone? And I think when someone says black, I don't think they're trying to harm someone. I don't think there's a harm involved. When you say some guy's a white guy, I don't think there's a harm involved, right? I mean, yellow and red seem terrible, but I don't think there was a harm involved. I think it was just a descriptor. Are you using it as a less than term? Are you trying to harm somebody with it? Is it an insult? I think that's the issue, right? But the word itself, I'm not concerned. So that's the issue. Adoronic says the black family was first targeted, but every family's in trouble now. Correct. It happens often, every time. Oh, we're going to get this minority group, whatever that group is. And all of a sudden, oh my God, it came back to all of us. And the reason why is because when you're going after that minority group, you never say it's racism or bigotry or prejudice. You always go, well, no, it's because of this reason we made up. Well, that reason you made up in 1860 or whenever you made that reason up, well, now that reason has to go on for another 50 years, 100 years. Well, now the race part doesn't count anymore because it's the real reason now, which affects everybody. Happens all the time. Yes, all the time. Yeah. All right. Bronna says, the first person I ever heard use the term African-American was Jesse Jackson. I saw it as a move toward division even back then. It is. Jesse Jackson he has always been that. He's always been that. 100%. He's always been that. And he hasn't changed. He made his money on it. Yes. Noah says, if Gary Johnson ran for president again for Libertarian nomination, would you join his ticket? 100% yes. 100% yes. If Gary Johnson, that's a fantasy. That's like saying if Ron Paul runs for president, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? But if he was, of course I would. I love Gary Johnson. He's a great guy. He can raise money. He raised $11 million last time he ran. If he could raise $11 million and has me on his ticket, we will raise $20 million. Maybe more. We'd make some serious impact. So yeah, if he wants, look, he's not coming back. He doesn't even talk to me anymore. I mean, if I reach out to him now, I'll get a response like 3 months later after he's coming down from a mountain or something, mountain biking. Then I'm exaggerating, but he'll respond to me like weeks later, like, whenever he gets around to it. He's out there like mountain biking and running marathons and stuff like that. He's nowhere near this. He's nowhere near this world. He's nowhere near. But if he did, I'd love to. I'm on board if he wants to. But Governor, if you're listening, I'm here. I would absolutely jump on board in a heartbeat if he would do it. We raise tons of money and make stuff happen. So yes, but again, Mike says zero pressure on RFK and Trump at this time. I see Mike's with me. I see. I figured Mike would know. Yeah, it doesn't. MAGA isn't mad at Maha. America First isn't mad. They just like, good, do your thing. Go. Nice. We have stuff to do. It's not there. You got to remember something. Before RFK jumped on the Trump train, Trump didn't really have a big issue with food or medicine. It wasn't really a big thing for him. It wasn't really part of his policies. It wasn't a big deal. He was like, whatever. So I think I'm Mike and on the same page. I don't see it. I don't see it being a big deal for Maha MAGA either way. I don't think they're mad at him either. I don't think they're going to attack. They're like, whatever. Good luck. Mike says assassins need many skills: cooking, chemistry, physics, reading, agility, strength. Same with ninja. More than you think, Larry. I guess. The people who are modern day assassins in reality, not like John Wick, right, or whatever, like TV show, like modern day bad guys, they don't know any of that shit. They don't know any of that shit. So I don't know any of them. Now I've only met one, but I've heard of others through the lawyers that I've dealt with and defense attorneys I've dealt with, but they don't know any of that shit. And most of them wind up going to jail anyway, but that's besides the point. So let me grab some more if I can. Kay said, thank you for the gift of membership. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. These are, you're really hooking me up. I appreciate it for the holiday season. I do appreciate it tremendously. Thank you. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Adirondack says the Princess Bride is Rob Bride and her saving grace. Look, everyone can do something good here or there. They can. Absolutely, they can. Absolutely. Look, you can be good at something and have terrible politics. You can. You can be good at something. That's why you always hear me say, I try to give credit where credit is due. You can be good at something and have terrible politics. Yes. So Ben Shapiro's feelings don't care about your facts. Yeah. As I always say, feelings matter a whole lot. Andrea says, say it isn't so. Ben Shapiro's wrong. True. Kinsugi says, of course, Ben Shapiro said that. Of course he did. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Totally true. Yeah, we can actually go back. So D says, rumor on the street, no radio show and no GovShuck on Monday. True. I'll be traveling. I will be traveling. I'll be heading to DC for a bit again. I'm doing a lot of trips down there, trying to raise awareness, raise money. It is a big deal. So I will be gone on Monday. Yes, I will be gone on Monday. Yes. But there will be we will be doing shows on Tuesday and Wednesday again. And no, are we doing any shows on Tuesday and Wednesday? Maybe we are. Hold on. You got me thinking, D. I forgot. Yes, I'm doing a show. Yeah, I will be doing a show still on Tuesday and on Wednesday and on Thursday. I won't be doing it on Friday because I'll be traveling again. So 3 days of shows, only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be doing shows. I'll get the list out as soon as I can. So yes, absolutely. So Kentucky says, I'll take off work for January 2027. I like that. I love that. Yes. John says, welfare trashes families and I'll do with the destruction of poor families. 100%. Yes. Nosy says, welfare is quite like mouse utopia if anyone depends upon it. Yes. Welfare does beat people up. It does. Absolutely. Yes. So Noah says, we have a camp in Hammondsport, New York. Will you be speaking there this year for your campaign? If so, I'll be there. I don't know. Hammondsport, that, oh, Jesus. Is that Steuben County? Is that right? Steuben County? I don't know exactly. I think that's Steuben County, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't know. Please reach out to the campaign. Maybe we can find something there. I love that. I like that. So yes. All right. Robert says, there's where I must disagree. Yes, affirmative action may have helped white women disproportionately, but those women were still part of the white families by and large. Yes, that was my point. I think we're agreeing. I think we're agreeing. I don't think we're disagreeing here. I think we're agreeing to that. I'm just saying that that welfare also hurt white families. That's what I'm saying. But affirmative action helped a lot of white women, but also helping a white family. True, yes. Unless you would say that having those women working might have slowed down maybe them having babies. In theory, depends how you would see that. Depends on how you would judge that. So, yes. Nosy says, I have found that black people tend to mind their own business far better than white people. That's a trope for sure. So maybe it's true. So yeah, that is definitely a trope for sure. Yeah. John says, mini poll, I watch Lara on YouTube now because of the chat, but 2 times a show I have to reload because something went wrong. Is this normal? Oh, is that true? Are they hammering me? Maybe they're still hammering me. Yeah, maybe they are. I hope they're not. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like they might be. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. That's what I would say. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Adirang says, yes, Ben. I thought so. Yeah. It's funny how I know where that is, right? Yeah. Ask other people in Africa if they would know, because I've been there before. So yeah, I had a feeling it was in Steuben. And it was in that area. If I wasn't exactly Steuben, I knew it was in that area either way if I wasn't exactly correct. Guys, I want to make sure you guys know next week I will be running around, as I said before, speaking of those places. And if you want me to come see a place near you, it's okay. Tell me, reach out to the campaign either on Facebook or reach out to the campaign on YouTube, reach out to the campaign on X, whatever the case may be. If you want me to come by your area, have a place you I can go to, please help out. I'm happy to have you there. This is where I'm going. You can see it. Head over to any of my spots. Next Friday, December 5th, Saturday, December 6th, Sunday, December 7th, 1 p.m. on Friday and 6 p.m. on Friday in Binghamton, then Olean, which that's Broome County and Cattaraugus County. I'll be out there. Then Saturday, December 6th at 10 a.m., I'm in Buffalo, New York, Erie County. 2:30, I'm in Albion, New York. I think is that Orleans County? That's Orleans County. And then 7 p.m. in Danville. And then Sunday, I will be in Ithaca at 1 p.m. at the Ithaca Ale House. Check out what we're doing. Head over to any of our social media. This will be posted probably by next week. It'll be posted. See if you want to look at this. Check it out. If you can stop by, please stop by. I'd love to see you. Hang out. Say hi. Click the button. That is like, if you have not already done so. Make sure you share, repost it if you have not done so. Subscribe to this channel if you can. I appreciate every single subscription. It does matter. Every time you pop out here, it's important, right? Every time you do it, it does matter, right? I know I keep bugging you. It's because I want to grow. I want to make this work. I'm doing this because I care, obviously. And of course, after the show is over, once it's done, please comment if you would. And here's what I want you to comment on. Can we fix the American family? You tell me. Can we fix it? Is it fixable? I think yes, obviously. I think there's things we can do. You hear my policies. People ask me the other day, Larry, how can you fix the American family? I say you have to go back to community. The more you remove government and add community, the more you rebuild the family. The more people want to come back to where they are. You have guys like Ben Shapiro. Again, I'm just beat up Ben Shapiro now, I guess, who say, the American dream is about moving and going to a place that's better for you. That's what America's about. Well, maybe it was about that, but I'd like it to be about staying where you are because you love the area you're in. I'm here, still in New York. I don't know why some days, but I'm still here fighting, still trying to make my state better, trying to fix things. I think we can do it. The more we have community, the more people want to stay, the more people will feel supported, the more they'll have purpose, the more they'll keep their families together, the more they'll have support, right? If you have support for your family, it lessens the chance you lose your family. Doesn't mean you won't, but it lessens the chance you will lose your family. Phil says it. Don't give up New York. He is correct. Please, guys, comment after the live, after it's over. And if you watch this not live, you can see 2 videos pop up. Please pick on one of them. Watch that video right now. Algorithm loves it. I'll see you all very soon.